Hello everyone, and welcome to the Hotspots webinar. Today you're going to learn about this customizable and fast-loading Google Maps component for Joomla. Hotspots it comes with comprehensive documentation. It's super easy to install and set up, and it has a ton of features. Now, my name is Bernie. I'm going to be your host and moderator today, and I work at CloudAccess.net. And we are the official host of the demo trial of Joomla at demo.joomla.org. You can launch unlimited free trials of Joomla through our platform. Each trial is active for 30 days, and you can upgrade to a paid hosting package at any time. And you can also give us a call. We're standing by, ready to answer your questions as you develop your Joomla site. Now you can tweet at me at CloudAccess if you want to ask a question during the webinar. You can email me directly at webinars@CloudAccess.net, or you can find that GoToMeeting slide out question area to the right of your screen if you'd like to communicate with me today, or if you'd like to ask a question of your presenter. The presenter today is Daniel Dimitrov. He is the lead developer and founder of CompoJoom, a company that provides many Joomla extensions, high-quality Joomla extensions, and great support. And Daniel is also the lead developer of Hotspots. Hey, Daniel, are you there?
Hey, Ran. Thank you. I'm here. Hey, everybody.
Very good. Thanks for joining us today. And we have about 80 people registered. But again, if you want to post a question for Daniel or myself, find that slide out question area. And Daniel's going to get started in just a minute. Today he's going to talk about incorporating multiple locations and sets of directions, street views, etc., all those Google Map features into your Joomla site. He's going to talk about creating projects involving geolocalization, enabling visitors to add map markers through the front end, integrating Google Maps into JomSocial, and we'll probably, I imagine, talk about other components as well, and compatibility. And I'm sure Daniel's willing to talk about customizing Hotspots functionality for your needs. So if you had a question about how this might be good for your site, ask him. He's a real friendly guy. He's really active in the Joomla community as well. And again, stick around for that Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Just want to remind you that I am recording this too. A copy of this webinar will be available on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/cloudaccess. I'll show you where to find it a little bit later today, but for now, Daniel, I'm going to go ahead and pass the presentation to you, okay?
Okay, great. Despite what the slide of Ryan says, I'm going to start with our website, and I'm going to show you how to download the extension first, because believe it or not, we get questions asking us how to download Hotspots. It's really easy. You don't have to be registered to download the core version of the component. You can get it for free just by going to download Hotspots. What you have to do after that is select the version for download. We currently always offer the latest version, and over here we have 2.05, which is the version that works on Joomla 1.5. We no longer support this version, so as most of you are developing websites based on Joomla 2.5 or 3.0, you are advised to use this version over here, 3.54. And when you go here, you have the core version, and if you're a registered member and if you have purchased a subscription, then you can download the pro version over here. You just click on the title and you save the file on your computer.
Hey Daniel, we should remind them that you have a coupon available too. If anyone would like to purchase the pro version, Daniel's going to offer 15% coupon later today. We'll give you those details towards the end of the webinar.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. If you want to get support, we have also documentation. The documentation is accessible through support documentation. There you have you have to select the component that you want to read the documentation. In this case, here we have Hotspots, and here's the documentation. You don't have to be registered on the website. You can read it and use it with the free subscription, with the free version of Hotspots as well. If you want to get a free support for the core version, you have to go to our forum, and down here we have the core section for hotspots. You can ask your question there, and if you're a subscriber, then you can post questions in the Pro section, or you can use our ticket system over here, Spot Tickets, and then you can post your ticket in the hotspots category. So now that we know how to download hotspots and we've downloaded it, I will log into my Joomla backend. I've created a demo Joomla installation, just a webinar, and here I'm going to install the extension. You proceed as with every other extension. You go to the extension manager. Then we will select our package. There it is, 354, and we'll click on upload and install. The main package of the extension contains all plugins and modules that we currently distribute with the extension. So as you can see, everything went fine in this case. The plugins that were installed with hotspots are shown over here, as well as the modules. And at the bottom of it also we have also installed a Community Builder plugin, because Community Builder is installed on this website. Now the first thing that we have to do is we go to Components, Hotspots, and okay, let's have a look first at the dashboard. This is the dashboard. From on the left hand side you have a quick access to the locations, the categories, to the KML view, and down at the bottom we have the same buttons. Currently we have one demo location that I've previously entered on the site. Now I'm going to show you first how you create categories with the component. Right now we have one category at the bar. We're going to create a new one, which will show restaurants in our city, for example. So all you have to do here is type the title. If you want, you can type a short description. Then you have to select the icon. The icon is what your users are going to see on the map. You have the choice to upload a new image or choose a sample icon that we provide with the installation of hotspots. We have around 500 categories, 500 images over here. I'll search for a restaurant. And there it is. I have an icon for this, and I'll explain what custom tile marker color is a little bit later. For now I'll just select a color for it, and then I'm going to save and close this category. So now we created a second category, and I'm going to go to the locations, and I'm going to create a new location. So let me type something, a nice restaurant. I'll publish it in the restaurants category, a short description, and here I'll put the read more button, and I'll type the long description. And after that, I'm going to click on Find My Location on the right side. And as you can see, my location was found out, and it was pinpointed on the map. I have the choice, if my location is not correct, I can take this pin and drag it around. The coordinates and the street are going to change, or I just click somewhere on the map, and the location will be moved to this position. There is also another option. If I don't want that the street and city, etc. change with the move of this pin, I can set the sticky marker to no, and now whenever I move the location, only the coordinates are going to change, but the street and city name are going to stay the same. For our example, I just want to keep them synchronized, and for our example, this is all we want to do. I'm going to save it. And now, right now we have two locations. What you want normally to do now is to show your map to the users in the front end. So you're going to create a new menu. I've already created a Hotspots menu, so let me first delete those two. And I'm going to click on the new button. Then for the menu type, we have to find the hotspots component in the list over here. And you always need to publish a map view. This is mandatory. You always have to create such a menu. It doesn't have to be in a menu that is visible to the user, but you always need to have such a link to the component. So now I'll type here hotspots, and I'll save this. But first, at the advanced options, I need to select my category. I'll select that whenever the map starts, I want to see the hotspots in the bar category. So for alias, you can leave it empty or type something like Hotspots Map. I'll click on Save. So the menu was saved. I can go to the front end. Now when we refresh, we have the Hotspots menu over here. And whenever I click on it, you'll see that the map is loading with the bar category automatically popping out. I have my first bar is over here. And we're currently really zoomed in. That's why you see a gray area. If you zoom out, you see that we have a normal Google map. And about the UI, on the top you have the categories. You can click on another category to show. I'll need to zoom a little bit more to see the hotspots in this category. Where is it? So there it is in Frankfurt. So as you saw, I can click over here to see more information about the hotspots. Whenever I click on directions, I can use this to find my direction to here, let us say Berlin, for example. And when I click on the submit button, on the right hand side, you can see that I have the directions. Here on the top in the menu, I can switch between the different categories, and I can also close the categories. So, and if I don't want to look at the directions anymore, I can click this button over here and it will delete the directions as well. We have a quick search. So if I type test, for example, then we'll make a search in the database for one of the locations. Let me try with a bar, because I believe that we have a bar. The search always searches in the current view area. This is your current view area over here. So if I'm zoomed on Poland, then I won't see any location because my location is actually in France. We have the ability to zoom on the icons, to center on the markers with this button over here. And this button over here will create, will lead you to the directions tab, where I can actually look for directions, like for example Paris to Berlin. There it is. And this button over here is very interesting in my opinion. You can resize the map. So if you click on it, the map will take all this available screen of your browser. I can show that I can make the browser smaller, and the map will always resize with your browser. The show all tabs on map means that currently we only see one marker at a time, or the markers in a particular category. If you click on this button here and you start to browse around and click on new categories, you all the time see the markers from each category on the map. There are a lot of other options that we have available in the settings of the component. You can access them by going to Components, Hotspots, and on the top here you have Options. So right now our starting place of the map is set on Karlsruhe, Germany. The start zoom of the map is set to 10. I can change this to, for example, let us say Berlin, Germany. I'll set the start zoom set to 5 and I'll save this. Now I can go again to my map, refresh the page, and you'll see that the map is again centered on France. That's because in the menu settings, this is something that a lot of users oversee. Whenever you go to the menu and you select the map over here, in the basic settings you have different center options. For default we select by marker bounds. What this means is that we automatically look what markers you have published on the map, we look for their positions, and we try to set the zoom and center on the map in a way that it shows at the same time all hotspots. I will leave it like this and I'll select both the bars and restaurants categories. So now when I refresh the page, you will see that both the bar and the restaurants are shown on the map, and the zoom actually changed. We now have both locations at the same time visible to the user, so whenever the map loads he can see all the locations that we have available on our map. But if we don't want this, if we want to set a specific location, we've set now Berlin, Germany, we can click here by Start Position Zoom. We can save this, and now whenever I refresh the page, you will see that the map is actually centered on Berlin in zoom level 5. If I change this, if I change the zoom level in the global configuration options, let me have the hotspots options opened in a new tab. So there we have the options. Again on the map, let me set the zoom to 15 for example, and let me save this. Now whenever we refresh the page, we are going to be zoomed in on Berlin. So this is the specific location that we want to be zoomed on. Now, if you look at the other options in the menu, we have the menu closed option. This means every time we refresh the page, the menu is showing itself to us. Some users don't want to have this, so we can set this to disabled. And now whenever I refresh the page, you will see that the menu will stay closed. And I have to actually click on the menu for it to show out. You have other options such as showing the quick search. This is the quick search over here. You can remove it by setting this to no. You can remove the option to search the markers. Let me show you this. I'll zoom a little bit. So there we have our two markers, and if you look in the menu, whenever I go under the hotspots and I click on it, I have a directions button. I can disable this by setting this to no. I can disable the menu at all, so people won't see it at all. So this way they will have to only use the map, and they won't have any menu. As you can see, the menu is not there anymore. But let us enable it again. We have also the option to start in full screen mode. Let me save this. Now when I refresh the page, the map will automatically start in full screen mode. This is how it will look to the user. So let us see what other options we have. In the map, you have the default map type. You can select, for example, a satellite map, and when the user refresh the page, we will have satellite imagery over here and not a map. Of course, I can always change to a map or satellite by clicking those buttons over here. Other options that we have are, for example, we can define which controls of the Google Maps we want. For example, we can turn this thing off, we can turn this thing off here, and we can just disable the map and satellite switch by playing around with the options under the map tab. So I can remove the map, the pan control, the zoom, etc. I can remove all those things. Right now I can use my scroll wheel to zoom in and zoom out. I can disable this by setting the scroll wheel to no over here. And we have different kinds of layers. Right now I don't know if you see it, but we have the map, the weather layer is turned on. So we get weather information on the map. I can disable this by going to the map tab again and setting the weather layer to off. Let me save this, and you will see that we no longer are going to get weather information. Switch to the map tab, and there is no weather information anymore. So another interesting, we support nearly all the layers that Google Maps has, like clouds layers, traffic layers, transit layers. Let me turn on the traffic and the transit layer to demonstrate this. And let me also go back to the standard map type. So now when we have a look, you will see this is the traffic layer. It shows us the streets where the traffic is good or bad, depending on the Google coverage. Some cities have this, some cities don't. But as you can see, this is an interesting option for traveling cities or directions websites. So another interesting option is the Stylet maps. I don't know if you know this, but there is this online tool over here, Google Maps samples for the Stylet maps. Sorry, I clicked something. Stylet. So there we go. By using this tool, you can, for example, define how your map is going to look. I can, for example, invert the colors, and I can create a black and white version of my website if I want. Now you can play with everything over here, set the colors, set the weight of the, you can see that's the country borders. So you can create a map that truly matches the color of your website. For example, if you have a dark website, you can create a dark map. If you have a white website, you can create a white map. This truly can enhance the user experience. So all you have to do after that, once you've created the desired style, you have to click on Show JSON. Then you have to copy this code over here, and then go back to the settings of the component, and you can paste this code. And now when I save this, and then I will refresh the page, you'll see that I have a new map with a different color. It's that easy. So another interesting thing, maybe for some of you, is the KML Support, Keyhole Marker Language. KML files are files that you can create with, for example, Google Maps, and those files allow you to draw lines, circles, or whatever imagery you want to have. You can upload those files by going to KML and then click on the New button. Unfortunately, you cannot test this on a local host. Currently, I'm hosting this on my computer. You have to be on a live website. Why is that? Because we actually sent the file to Google, and Google loads it on the map. If we're on our local host, Google doesn't know how to find the file. So for this part of the demonstration, I'm going to go to our demo page, which is accessible at democomputing.com/hotspots. And here we have one of the categories has 2 KML files. This is the culture category. When I navigate to it, I can zoom out a little. And as the description says, we have 2 KML files. One is over Chicago and the other one is over Toronto. So I'll zoom a little bit more. So there you see it. This is the KML file over Chicago. So here, as you can see, we have drawn some lines, and you can actually click on the line and it can give you more information. Everything you can create such files with, as I said, with Google Earth. They are very easy to create, and this way you can draw streets or whatever you need to show to your users. You can use the KML files to also show images on the map. Possibilities are endless. You just have to play with Google Earth and create whatever you need. So this is the KML support. I'm going to go back to our map, and I'm going to create a new location. For example, let us put a second restaurant. So I will again use this man over here to fill up the information. Something that's not related to hotspots but to browsers in general. When I click this button, we are sending a request. Your browser is actually sending a request to Google for your location. Normally the browser will ask you if you want to share your location. Access your location is set to allow in our case. You can configure this by going to the page info in Firefox, and then down over here you have access your location, and you can set this, for example, to always ask. If I do this and if I click on this, you'll see that the browser will ask me all the time if I want to share my location. So you can always set it to always share or never share this location. So for this time I've set it to always share the location, and the browser is never going to ask me again if I want to share my location with this website. So now I've created my second location. I want to point you to the options on the right. Here you can set a different order of this hotspot, but the more important options are in marker custom options. For example, you can have a different icon for this location. Let us say that I want my restaurant to show with the green icon. I can select this one, and I will save this. Now I'll go ahead, I'll refresh the page. We again zoomed on Berlin. I'll change this, and I'll go again to my menu settings, and I'll select, for map center option, I'll select by category marker bounds. This would mean that all the hotspots will be shown on the map whenever the page loads. Now I have to zoom out to find the hotspots. So now we'll zoom out. You can see one of the hotspots is here, the other one is here. And where's the third one? Did I save it? Oh, I forgot to fill up the description. And now it should work. So I will refresh the page. And as you can see, the other restaurant is over here. The restaurant is actually posted in the category, in the bars category, but it doesn't matter. So this is my restaurant. I can zoom onto it by using the zoom button, and whenever I click on read more, I will go in a single view of this location, which looks like this. We have the street, the map. If we have a photo of the location, it will be shown here near the map, and here's our description and the user who submitted it. So now let us go again, let us first save and close this, and go again to the settings. I want to remove this custom style that I selected. So let me remove this and click on save. So, and let me also disable the traffic layer, as I don't want it. Traffic layer no, transit layer no. Okay, there we go. So now we know how to work with the backend. There is also a nice option which will allow our users to post hotspots in the front end. So if you have a community website and you want to encourage your users to post hotspots, you don't want them to go into your backend, you want them to go into your front end and publish a new location. So we'll click on the new button. We'll go again, find hotspots in the list, and this time we'll select hotspot submission layout. So we'll click on it, and we'll call it submit a location. The parent menu, let's be hotspots. I'll save this. So now when I refresh the page, I will have an option submit a location. And this is a setting that's overlooked by most users. Currently I'm not logged on the page and I'm not authorized to submit hotspots. If I want to encourage unregistered users to submit hotspots, what I have to do is go to the security tab, the permissions tab, and select that users are able to, public users are able to create hotspots. If I do this, and if I go back to this page and I refresh it, you'll see that now I will be able to submit locations. I'll have to type my name, Daniel, my email account, and another restaurant, for example. I can select the category that I want to post to. I will again share my location, but let's put it like a few hundred meters on the side. And that's all I have to do. I can click on submit, and my location will be saved and I will be directed to a single view of that location. So this is how your users can submit locations in the front end. We also have some nice plugins. If you go to the extensions plugin manager section and search for hotspots, you have plugins that you can select from. On our side we have JomSocial, and I've enabled the JomSocial features plugin. What it will do, it will post to our activity stream. So whenever we submit a hotspot, it will show on the activity stream. So let's go to JomSocial. Here we have the recent activities, and as you see, a guest added a new hotspot on a restaurant. I previously, as a super user, added a new hotspot. This is the first part that I created as testing this. So you have the user, the hotspot, and a link to the hotspot. So your users from JomSocial can go directly to the hotspot. Unfortunately, the link here is wrong. This is because I deleted the menus, but this one should be fine. So the link here is correct. So your users can go directly from JomSocial to the location. So this is one of the plugins that we have. We also have the Hotspots email plugin. For example, when you have a community website and your users are submitting locations from the front end, you don't always want to publish the locations immediately. You maybe want to receive an email first that there is a new location, and then log into your backend and enable and publish this location after you prove that it's correct. So here you can select the group that should receive notifications per email. You have to enable the plugin, and after that, whenever somebody posts a new hotspot in the front end, you will receive an email that a new location has been posted. Those buttons, those plugins here are very interesting. Hotspots links. You know how whenever you go to the map, each of your hotspots has a read more button. The read more button normally leads to a single view of a hotspot. But if you select one of those, if you enable one of those plugins here, let's say K2, and whenever you submit a location through the backend, you have the option to select a K2 entry that the read more button will point to. For example, I'll create a new hotspot, test K2, test, and here you have link to, currently it's hotspots, but it can be an article or a K2. So if I select K2, I can type the ID of the article here, and whenever I save it, the link in the front end won't point to single view, but it will point to K2. So since I don't have K2 actually installed on this website, I will use the articles component for this demonstration. Let me find an article that we have on the website, and what I need to do is know its ID. We have the ID is 1. So for this, I'll type 1 here, test article. I'll click on save, but first I need to enter location. So. And now, let us look at this location in the front end. So this is my location. Let me click on it. You see that the read more button is not pointing anymore to the single view of the hotspot, but to a different link. So this is one of the options that we have. Let me close this. Let us have a look at other plugins that come with the component. The Hotspots Alpha User Points integration will assign user points in, if you know this component, it's called Alpha User Points. It's a component that allows you to assign points to users, and this way they can achieve better status on your website and get custom features, etc. The Search Hotspots plugin will allow you to use the standard Joomla search and search through the hotspots database, and when there is a match, then you can point the user to your hotspot. A question that we encounter often is, how many hotspots can we show at the same time on the map? The answer is a difficult one. You can actually show thousands of locations or 100,000 of locations or even 1 million of locations. But you need to know a few things. For this, I will use our demo site because there we have 90,000 locations in one of the categories. So let me go to this category first, to the education category. When I zoom out here, you see that we start to have locations. In the menu on the right, we show up to 20 hotspots at the same time, and whenever there are more than 20 hotspots, like in this case, in our current view there are 38 hotspots. So when you go down, you will see that we have a next button. When you click on next, we'll go to the second page, and then we can go to the previous page. But you will also notice that here down we have small dots, and those dots don't have those nice markers here. Those dots indicate that we have more markers than we currently see in our current view. So I can even go with my mouse and click on this button here, and you'll see that I can directly access the information about this hotspot. For example, I can go over this one, click on it, and I directly get the information. Some people want to have this marker manager where you have a number of the locations in the current view, etc. But I believe that the current implementation in Hotspots is far better. For this, to show you this, we can go to the parks. This is a category that has 90,000 locations. You will see that, let's zoom a little bit. Currently we have 2,530 locations. And I can click on all of those small dots actually. This one, and I can click on the bigger one. And at the same time, whenever I see that there are small dots, I can say, okay, let me zoom in this location because there are more hotspots here. And then I can say, okay, I want to zoom into those two here, and eventually I end up with just 7 hotspots in my current location. This is how the custom tiles method works in Hotspots. If you have a lot of locations, all you need to do is go to your settings on the map tab. You have the custom tiles button. If you enable this, we will start to create those small dots that you see on the map. The color of the dot is determined by what you select in your categories. In the categories, we saw an option called custom tile marker color. In our case, I've selected, what's this, purple. So on my demo page here, localhost, if I enable the tiles method, the dot that is going to be generated is going to have this color. You will notice that on our demo page we have purple category, and the icons in this purple category, the dots in this purple category are purple, and whenever you go to the green category, the dots have a different color. This will allow you to clearly distinguish between the categories. So there is also another plugin that I didn't show you. This is the Content Hotspots plugin. If you enable it, you will be able to show a map in an article. So let me enable this. The syntax is pretty easy. Let me copy this. You have some basic options like the height of the map, the width of the map. Currently it is set to 100% width, and the start zoom for this hotspot. So I'll save and close this. And then I'll go here to the article manager and I'll add a new article. So a new article with a hotspot. I'll set to read more. I'll paste this and I'll set 1 for my hotspot, and I'll save and close this. And I want to show this article on the front page if possible. So a new article is over here, and you'll see that our article now has a nice map. I can click on my hotspot and I can even use the directions option. So I think that this is all I had to show you for today. If you have any questions, you can ask them now.
Hey, awesome, Daniel. Great job. You know, I really wanted to know personally how, you know, anyone can go and get an iframe from Google Map and embed it into a custom HTML module or an article. I just wanted to see firsthand how, you know, your component added functionality that made it easier. And, you know, within the first 5 minutes of you talking, I decided it's something that it just makes it so much more easy.
Yeah, thank you. That's actually the goal. So you don't have to be a genius to find out how to add an iframe, but you have to actually provide more value to your users. And having a map that allows your users to search the location in your city or country is definitely doing that.
Yeah, great. And, you know, we did have a couple questions coming up during the presentation. David just sent a good one, and I liked it. And he wrote, does the extension support mobile viewing as well? So is it responsive?
I have an iPad mini over here, and it works perfectly fine with it. However, there were 2 reports in our forum about problems with Android versions, but we are going to resolve those in this week, so it will work on it. It also works with my Windows phone over here, so it's yeah, if you want to call it, it's responsive in my opinion. And basically what I like to do on my phone is, where's the map? Let me go. Whenever I use it with my phone, I normally always go to this button over here to resize the map and have it on full screen, and then I can use it, go left and right and click on all the buttons. It's much easier because the size on the phone is small, but when you have it take all the available space, and it's much easier to use.
Very good. And did you talk a lot about the differences between the non-commercial and the pro version?
No, I didn't talk the version. You can actually see those things if you go to our website and then down here to the Hotspots Map. This is where you can purchase the component. We have a table with the features in the core and in the professional one, and you can decide for yourself if you need the pro or not. When you download the core version, let me show the core version for a second on this website. The core version doesn't have all the plugins and doesn't have all the options, but I think that it clearly points this out. So I'll install the core version over here. And if you start with the core version, you can update to the pro version without any problem. So we just need to install the pro version over the core version. So anyway, I'm going to the options, and you will see that when I go on the map, you see that those options over here are actually disabled. You cannot select them. So in the pro version, you can see which options you can use and which not, and then you can decide if those are something that you want or not.
Very good. Very good. You know, Clemens says thank you, a couple of other thank yous coming in, and I saw that in the pro version you had that JomSocial integration option available.
Yeah.
That's a popular question. I know Easy Social is just about ready to come out. Have you worked with Stack Ideas at all about making the two compatible?
No, I haven't, but if users want this, we're normally very open, and if you look at our forum, you'll see that we respond to user requests. So if a lot of users want an easy social integration, then of course we're going to do it.
And on that note, Daniel, Ed posted a question. I'm interested in Community Builder integration. Is it possible to use the extension as a geolocator?
Okay.
So, yeah, he says he
yeah, but
writes.
what kind of integration? He wants to show the users of Community Builder on the map, or what?
He writes, is it possible to use the extension as a geolocator within Community Builder profile?
I guess not. I'm going to show the integration that we have with Community Builder. So basically, what I didn't show you in the previous part was that whenever you go to the options and then to the, what is it? Link to profile down at the bottom. You can link to, if you have installed Community Builder or JomSocial, you can link the username to the JomSocial profile or the Community Builder profile. Now, if I select this option over here, and then when I go in the front end, and then go in single view of a hotspot, you see that the name at the bottom, no wait, this is something that I submitted as a non-registered user that I have. Is this? Let us have a look at this one. You will see that the name is actually linked to the JomSocial profile, and it can also be linked to the Community Builder profile. The other integration that we have with JomSocial, I already showed you, as the activity streams, and you can also assign points to users. Your users can receive points when they submit a location. What we have for Community Builder, on the other hand, is a little bit different. Let me log into my profile and go to the Community Builder profile. When you install the Pro version comes with a plugin for Community Builder. It's automatically installed on the site, and you can go over here to Components, Community Builder, Plugin Management. And there we have our Hotspots plugin. So let us publish this one. You have a few options over here. I'll save this one. And now when I look at my profile, there's a Hotspots tab. Something that I have to note here is that the Hotspots tab should always be first on the page, otherwise you get this map issue over here. So I'll go back into the tabs and tab management maybe, and I'll disable the contact info tab. Can I disable this one? For some reason it's not, the disable button in Community Builder is not working right now, but whenever you manage to disable it, then you get a map that has the hotspots shown here, and you can click on them and there you get the info. I'm sorry for this, but yeah, if the hotspots map was loaded first, then it would look just fine.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Ed. Hopefully that gives you at least an idea about the integration with Community Builder. Branko has posted a comment. Great stuff. Keep up the good job. Sue posted a question too, more about Hotspots functionality. Can you show distances from where a user is to the locations? So if there's a store with multiple locations, can they see distances?
We had a question that was similar to this. It is the can you show a radius search? For example, you can type your zip code and then you have a radius of 30 kilometers that you look into. I've discussed this with our users, and I'm generally against such an option. First of all, I don't know how to make it user-friendly, and nobody has told me how to make it user-friendly from our users. But I think that you have to look at hotspots from a different perspective. When you go on the map, like right now, I'm zoomed on Germany. If I'm in USA, then I will normally be zoomed over USA. And I know where I want to look for a store. I want to look for a store in New York or in Boston or whatever. I will zoom my map over this location, and then I'll get the locations in my menu on the right. That's why I don't think that the user needs to have a distance calculator. All he wants is to have a look at the locations that you already have, click on it, and then eventually click the directions button and calculate his direction from there to the store. I don't know if this answers the questions, but this was my perspective on distance calculation.
All right. Sue, hopefully that helps, and Ed got back with you too, Daniel, that thanks. I think that may work, your explanation about Community Builder. No other questions at this point. So, folks,
I actually forgot to show you something. It's the part of a different extension, but it's given out for free, so maybe it will interest some people. When you go in the Read More section, you have just the hotspot here with a short description, but you can actually also show a comment box at the bottom. You can do this by installing our free extension cComment. I'll just do this in a second to outline how it works. I'll install this one. And then I'll go to the extension itself, cComment, to the settings. I'll create a new setting for our hotspots component, where it is. So, and I'll just save it. So now in hotspots, all I need to do is go to the options, and I'm not sure where it was. That is KML Support. You can enable this one. And now whenever I'm in single view of a hotspot, I should see a map. I should see a comment box at the bottom of the page. There it is. And now I can comment on this hotspot. There we have it. So this way you can have both the Google Maps location and you can have discussions going about this location, so users can share impressions of the restaurant or whatever you're letting them see.
all right, very cool. Hey, you know, Paul posted a question about working with Google directly. Have you worked with anyone from Google directly as you developed the component?
No, I haven't. Why?
Not quite sure. Paul said he has a nonprofit that he wants to create a website for, like to communicate with Google. So. Oh
no, that's a difficult, a very difficult task. So on numerous occasions, I have tried to receive support from the developers of Google Maps, but this is nearly impossible.
All right. Let me, you know, we have no other questions at this point. I'm going to go ahead and steal the presentation back here. And I want to remind you that there is a 15% off Hotspots special coupon that Daniel is offering. If you'd like the professional version, you can use the coupon code CloudAccess, all in caps. If you'd like that pro version, order soon. And I also want to close this presentation here quickly and remind you that there is a recording of this webinar. It will be available later today on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/cloudaccess. If you scroll down, it'll be under our special Joomla webinars playlist here. And there's a couple of other webinars that we've done with Daniel that are available here as well. If you want to launch a demo Joomla site, come to CloudAccess.net, create an account, and log in. If you're interested in other webinars, come to Training and Joomla Webinars here. We do host free and live daily webinars on learning the basics and getting started, but we also have many upcoming special events. After today, let's see, later this week we're going to have the Watchful webinar. This is a very, very popular component, just turned a year old, and it's for remote updates, backups, and security monitoring for Joomla. Of course, free to attend. This should be a really popular one. The Metukio webinar, this is an extension that also comes from CompoJoom. We're going to host this on Wednesday, October 2nd. All of these are free to attend. This is Metukio is events management. And then we have an OgoSense webinar, helping to increase the number and quality of leads from your Joomla site. This is more of a sort of web development perspective webinar, not necessarily about a particular extension. Again, feel free to reach out to me at any time if you'd like to via Facebook, CloudAccess.net /Facebook, or I'm sorry, Facebook /CloudAccess.net, or at CloudAccess.net on Twitter. Daniel, thank you so much for doing this presentation for us today.
You're welcome, Ryan. And thank you, everybody, for attending.
It's always nice to promote your company and your products. We just know it's quality, and that's what we like to do, is get this information to our users. So Vitaly and David, a lot of people saying thank you, and thank you guys for attending. Good luck developing that Joomla site. We hope to see you in a webinar really soon. Take care, everybody.